I can even you out. Okay. I don't know. We'll try, because you know I like to do both sides, both sides. Let's start in Tadasana. So big toes together, heels slightly apart. If that doesn't feel great, you can have your feet all the way apart, but we'll stack underneath the hips. And really spread your toes wide. Look down at them if you need to. See if you can maybe see some space there. Engage in your quads. Pull your kneecaps up onto your thighs. Pull the belly in like you're bringing your navel towards your spine. Hey Jim, you found us. Yeah. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears and then ask them to come down your back. Palms a little bit facing open. Maybe you have your eyes closed as you begin to breathe really deeply, inhaling fully and exhale fully. 2 more nice deep breaths like that. Finding engagement in the quads still, the belly, the shoulder blades. On this next inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Palms can come together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bend the knees really generously and fold forward so generously that your ribs are touching your thighs. Let your head hang heavy, maybe nodding back and forth. Maybe saying no. Drop the hips even more. Now round it up as you come up to standing. Reach the arms up overhead. Maybe your gaze is ready to reach to the sky. And then exhale, fold forward again. Again, a super generous bend so that you can really let your ribs rest on your thighs. Head heavy. Drop the hips even more. Round it up 1 vertebra at a time. Come up to standing. Reach up. Exhale, fold, deep bend. Drop the hips, round it up. Exhale, fold. Maybe you begin to straighten your legs in this forward fold, or straighten them a little bit more than they have been. Let's take a little bit of a side-to-side sway. So maybe your hands are grounded, or maybe you like to have them off the ground. Just a little side-to-side movement. Softness in the knees, don't let them be locked. And then plant the hands, step back to the top of your push-up. Plank pose, top of the push-up, pull the belly up and in. All of yoga being your core work. If you activate pulling the belly up and in and in and in. Drop down to the knees, cat-cow, inhale, open the chest. Exhale and round, push into the ground. Inhale to open. Exhale to round. Inhale, open, gaze up. Exhale, round, pull the belly in. One more time, inhale, open. Exhale and round. And then come to stillness, come to a neutral spine and tabletop, belly engaged. So go ahead and still pull that up and in, but a flat back. Reach the right arm and left leg out. Re-engage in the core. On an exhale, elbow to knee, knee to elbow, round it in. Inhale, lengthen out. 4 more. Exhale, round in. Inhale, lengthen out. 3 more. After your final one, reach both limbs out, keep them out, and then pulse towards the sky for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release hand, release knee, press back into child's pose. Even in your child pose, I want you to think about pulling navel to spine like you're hollowing out your belly. Come back to tabletop, find that nice neutral spine, pull the belly in to create a strong core, reach the left arm and right leg out. 5 times, exhale, brings the knee and elbow together, inhale, lengthens out. Nice slow movement. And after your 5th one, we'll keep everything lengthened out and then pulse to the sky for 5. Release hand and knee, press back to child's pose again. Hollow out the belly, maybe tent onto the fingertips. I know, it's a good day, isn't it? Walk your hands over to the right so you find a side stretch in your child's pose. Come back through center and walk the other direction. Come back to your child's pose on the center of your mat. And from here, rock forward, hands and knees, curl the toes, come into your plank. Hold this plank for 5. Belly pulled up and in. 4, fingers spread wide like starfish. 3, 2, hips high, downward facing dog. Walk your feet in if you need to. Maybe pedal out your feet a little bit. Find a little bit of movement in this first down dog. On an inhale, reach the right leg up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bend and stack, open up to the side. Find that quad hip flexor stretch. Knee to nose as you exhale, rounding everything together. Inhale, lengthen back out, 3-legged. Step to the top of the mat, high lunge. We're gonna open up those hip flexors, keep that back heel off the ground, reach the arms up overhead, or hands can be at heart center anytime you need it. Maybe we all sink another inch. And then release hands to the ground. Step back to the top of your push-up, plank. Hold for 5, belly pulled up and in. 4, puff that space out between the shoulder blades. 2, and 1, hips high, down dog. Left leg high, 3-legged. On an exhale, bend and stack, open up to the side. On another exhale, knee to nose, round it in. Inhale, lengthen back out to 3-legged, and then step to the top of the mat. High lunge on this side. You know, we're gonna pause here for a moment, opening up, finding balance, finding your breath. Sink down another inch for this last breath. Good job. And then release your hands down to the ground. Step back to your plank. Hold your plank. Either hold a static plank or right knee to right tricep. Step back to plank. Left knee to left tricep. Step back to plank. Down dog. Walk your feet up towards your hands. Tadasana feet. Take a half lift when you get to the top of the mat. Fold forward. Inhale as you come upright, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bend the right knee. We're going to try to keep that right knee in line with the left. Reach back to find your foot. Maybe with one or maybe with both hands, stretching into that quad. Heel towards bum. We're trying to keep knees in alignment. Belly pulled in. Balance and stretch, right? Yeah, that's okay if we fall out. We know we're pushing ourselves. Release, we'll find that on the other side. So let's bend that left knee first and then reach back, finding it with one or both hands. We might need one out to the side to keep our balance, right? Release back to Tadasana feet. Reach the arms up overhead. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, take a half lift, pull the belly in when you do so. Palm the mat, step back to the top of your push-up. This time we'll take a vinyasa, so on the knees or on the toes, lower all the way or part way if you're ready for Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Right leg comes up, three-legged. Exhale, bend and stack. On an exhale, knee to same arm. That's where we're headed this round. Inhale, reach it up to the sky, three-pointed. Step to the top of the mat, high lunge, reach the arms up overhead. And let's cactus the arms this round. Gaze to the sky if you would like. On an inhale, reach the arms up overhead. This time as we exhale, we're gonna thunderbolt forward to place our hands inside the front leg. Lizard lunge, sink the hips. We're gonna keep that back knee off the ground if it's available. Come up and around to warrior two, back of the mat. So sweep those arms around, move the feet, warrior two, facing away from me, back of the mat. Back of the mat. Flip the front palm, come into your peaceful warrior. Release hands down either side of your left foot. You're facing away from me. Step back to the top of your push-up. Take a vinyasa or no vinyasa, lowering as you exhale. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale to down dog. So you'll get to see what it's like to see everybody from your down dog, right? Inhale the left leg up, bend and stack, open to the side. Knee to same arm. Inhale, lengthen back out. Step to the top of the mat, high lunge. Inhale, reach those arms up overhead. Once you have your stability, on an exhale, cactus the arms, coming into a bit of a back bend, a bit or a lot, yes? On your inhale, reach the arms up overhead, thunderbolt forward. We're headed to the inside of our front knee, coming into our lizard lunge, dropping the hips, but trying maybe not to drop the knee. Use the strength of your legs and your core to help you come upright. Windmill the arms around. Warrior two facing me. Turn back to the top of the mat. Flip the front palm, peaceful warrior. Windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. Step back to the top of your push-up. Lower down onto the right forearm and then the left. Walk your feet in for dolphin. Walk your feet back out to your forearm plank. Ooh, let's see if we can get those hips in line with the rest of our legs. Walk your feet back in, dolphin. Walk your feet back out to forearm plank. Pause, and then let your hips drop all the way down, Sphinx Pose. So I'm gonna readjust my arms so that my forearms are parallel and my chest is reaching through my shoulders. Heart opener. Release all the way down to the ground. Chin on the mat, hands down by your side, palms facing up. Exhale your air out. Inhale as you bring everything you can off the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Rest on one cheek or the other. Arms out wide like a T. This time my palms are going to be down. Chin to the mat. Exhale your air. Inhale as you bring everything you can off the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release on and rest on the opposite cheek if you like. Bring your neck to neutral. Place your hands next to your ribs so you can push into tabletop. Begin cat-cow, 5 rounds on your own breath. Add in any other movements you like in your cat-cow. After your 5th round, Downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up, bend and stack, open to the side. Stay there or find a flip dog or wild thing if you would like. If you're flipping, you're coming down onto that right toe outside of the leg, and then you keep turning until your feet are flat or not. It depends on which one you're doing. We'll come back around to three-legged with lots of control, right? Reach to the sky. On an exhale, knee towards opposite arm. We're hugging it in, taking it forward, and then reach back to the sky. Step to the top of the mat, high lunge. Sink those hips really low, maybe lower than normal. Reach the arms up to the sky, and then hands to heart center. Maybe even more low than normal. Reach that back hamstring to the sky. Oh yeah, that's hard, isn't it? Eee. Hands to the inside, come into your lizard lunge. Maybe down onto your forearms. Maybe that back knee stays off the ground, maybe it drops down to the ground. You decide. We're headed to our warrior two on the left, so come back up. If you're down on your forearms, use the strength of those legs and core to windmill you around. You're facing away from me, warrior two. Flip the front palm, peaceful warrior. Extended side angle, forearm to that front thigh, other arm reaches overhead. Nice. Rotate your top ribs up toward the sky even more. Come back up to your warrior two. Gaze out over your front fingers and then windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. Listen up. We're going to bring that back knee into the front calf like Kundalini, and then have a seat on your shin. I know y'all are faced away from me, but that's okay. You're gonna look out and then come into your boat pose. You know boat, you don't have to see me. You know boat, you're gonna look out there in the grass, you're gonna hold your boat pose for 10, 100 count. You don't know how long, I don't know how long. Enjoy nature. We'll make our way to downward facing dog, cross, come over your legs. Step right back to down dog or take a vinyasa here and meet in down dog. Okay, other side. Left leg comes up three-legged, bend and stack. Stay there or you can come into your flip dog or wild thing on this side. Foot comes down to the ground, opening up. Yep, that's it, that's it. Yes. We'll come back out with as much control as we went in, right? Leg to the sky, left leg up. On an exhale, cross the body, knee towards opposite arm. Lengthen back to the sky. Step to the top of the mat. That really low high lunge. So we're gonna try to keep the hips really low. So for me, that's like a mega back bend already. Hands to heart center as we sink the hips another inch, reaching that back hamstring to the sky. And then we'll bring our hands down to the ground inside of our front foot and sink into your lizard. Maybe you stay on those hands, maybe you come down onto your forearms on this side. Make your way to warrior two, facing me. Come up onto your hands first. Ground, open up, warrior two towards the top of your mat, facing me. Good job, y'all. Flip the front palm, peaceful warrior. Extended side angle, forearm on the leg, other arm reaching overhead. Rotate those top ribs to the sky, nice, Jim. Come back up to your warrior two. Windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. That back heel will pop up. Bring your knee forward into Kundalini behind that calf. And then have a seat. Unwind into boat. Boat pulses as we crunch in and out. in and out. You decide how far in, you decide how far out. We shouldn't go too fast, should we? Somebody wanted core. How long are we gonna do this? Nobody knows, nobody knows. All right, let's cross over and come onto our hands and knees so we can push back into child's pose. From child's pose, come forward to plank so that we can come down onto our left forearm first, then the right. Walk it in dolphin, gaze can shift back. Walk it back out to your forearm plank, hips low. Walk it into dolphin. Walk it back to forearm plank, hold that for a second, and then drop the hips. We're right here in Sphinx again, but I'm gonna open up so that my forearms are parallel. Release all the way down to the ground, chin to the mat. Arms out in front of you like Superman if it's available. If that's not okay for your shoulders, back out here like a T. Exhale your air. Inhale. Everything's off the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2. Listen up. We're going to open up into Cactus Arms for 3, 2, 1, and release down. Maybe you rest your forehead on your palms, the back of your hands, whatever feels good. Wiggling out your hips or even doing a little windshield wipering with bent knees. I'll move the hands next to the ribs so we can push into tabletop, curl the toes, downward facing dog. We're going to play around with some toe taps in our down dog. We are going to try to aim for bringing toes onto the forearm, right? It looks like this, toes onto the forearm. It's okay if we don't make it all the way there. One thing you can do is step forward a little bit more, give yourself less distance to cover. The other thing you can do is just plain plug that hip up into the joint and bring it forward as far as it goes.
I'm too short.
Jim's too short. Okay, so I didn't even say this, but you know you have to do that each side. Maybe do about 3 or 4 on each side. We're trying to tap. Yeah. We're going somewhere with it. It doesn't go, it's okay if we're not going all the way. We're going somewhere. And now that you've had so many giggles, let's walk your feet between your hands, come halfway up. Exhale and fold. Sorry. Inhale to rise. And are y'all starting to be like, is that even normal to do, right? Hands to heart center.
Well, like I was watching you do it, and then I did not look like that.
There's yoga and there's yoga, or like there's normal and then there's yoga normal, right?
My torso is too short, so what?
Let's reach back and find that right foot and come into that stretch here. Okay, heel to bum. Find some stability here. Pull the shoulder blades towards each other, and maybe you play around with folding forward like a warrior 3 torso. Okay, save some room and energy to come back up. And then we're gonna try that, of course, on the other side. First, you gotta find the stability, right? And then you can think about playing around with folding forward. It's not really a forward fold, it's more like warrior 3. Bound up in a crazy way. Coming out with as much control as you go in. Oh, losing our balance as we need. Hands to heart center. Let's take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. And we get to flow again. Reach the arms up overhead and fold forward. Half lift. Palm the mat, step back to the top of your push-up. Side plank on the right. That can be on your feet. That could also be that we've dropped that back knee. Top leg has the option to lift no matter what version we're doing. Nice job, everyone. Everybody's doing the hard version, not me. Come back to plank, side plank on the left. Hips trying to be high no matter which version, so don't let this happen. Hips are high. Back to plank and then skip that vinyasa, go right to down dog. Right elbow to the ground. Left elbow to the ground. You're already in your dolphin. Take a breath. Left elbow off the ground, right elbow off the ground, down dog. Inhale, reach the right leg high. On your exhale, bend and stack. Knee to nose, hold it in there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lengthen back out to three-legged step to the top of the mat. High lunge. Are you going to take it super low, be a little higher? Are you going to cactus your arms? Make it your own. We'll bring hands to heart center and take a twist to the right. Let's bring the elbow to the outside. Use your hands at heart center to help open your twist. Maybe your gaze follows that twist. Back hamstring still really reaching to the sky. Keep those hands glued to heart center as you come back around to neutral, and then place your hands inside your front leg and sink into your lizard. Hands, forearms, back knee off, on, you decide. Take 3 breaths here. Before we go to warrior 2, we're going to bring our hands up, all the way to the right side so that we can come into our grounded lunge. Open up this side here, that left hip. If you want to reach the arms overhead, that's your option, or hands at heart center. Or sometimes I like to keep this hand right here and help open up my hip flexor even more. Now we're headed to warrior 2, back of the mat. You can bring your hands back down to the ground. You can curl your toes and come up, over, around. However you get there, do it mindfully. Warrior 2 towards the field. Peaceful warrior. Let's straighten the front leg this round and come into triangle. Reach out over that straight leg. Open those top ribs to the sky still. Top hand can come down to the ground. We're going to surround that left foot. Step forward into that kundalini, knee to the calf. Play with your balance here, maybe one or both hands coming off the ground, and then have a seat nice and slow and controlled. Make your way to boat pose. You don't need to see mine. You're going to focus on yours as you face the field. Twist to the right, back to center, twist to the left, center, right, center, left, center. One more right, center, one more left, center. Come over your legs, vinyasa or no vinyasa, maybe a child's pose, before we all end up meeting in downward facing dog. Left elbow to the ground, then the right elbow. We're just taking it the other way as we come into dolphin. Look back at your feet. Right elbow off the ground, left elbow off the ground, back in down dog. Inhale the left leg. Bend and stack open to the side. Knee to nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lengthen it back out, three-legged. Step to the top of the mat for your lunge version. Low, high, arms, you decide what you're doing here. And then we'll all bring hands to heart center and twist to the left. Really think about pressing those hands towards your heart center. Maybe you shift your gaze over your left shoulder. See if you can keep your hands glued to your chest as you unwind, coming back to center, and then drop those hands inside your front foot for your lizard variation. whichever one you're sinking into or holding yourself up with. We'll come into our grounded lunge here, so onto the hands, hands to the thigh, keeping the hips low, opening up that right hip flexor this time. You decide if you're reaching your arms overhead or keeping them at heart center or on the thigh. Transition with strength and grace, yeah? To warrior two, top of the mat, facing me. Yes, I saw the strength and grace. Thank you very much. Flip the front palm, peaceful warrior. Straighten the front leg, triangle. Pause here in triangle, find your rotation, find your core engagement, find your breath. Both hands coming down to surround your front foot. Step forward into that kundalini, knee to the calf. And then from here you can play with your balance, whether you have one or both hands off the ground, heart center, whatever you're doing. Make your way slowly to have a seat on the ground. Oh, you know it. Here we go, boat pose. This time we're gonna lengthen out to canoe. Can we hover off the ground like we're balancing on that tailbone or that sacrum? Yes. And release down, take a long body stretch. Place your fingertips behind your head, behind your ears. See if you can keep your elbows wide as you bring your nose towards your right knee, knee towards your nose. Lengthen out. Other side, hugging it in. Slow and a pause. Lengthen out. Right. Length. Left. Length. Right. Length. Left. Length. One more time each side, real slow like that. Coming into the right, hugging it, holding it, lengthening out. Left side, lengthening out, and another long body stretch. Let's hug both knees into the chest. Maybe rocking side to side a little bit. Place your hands behind your thighs. We're gonna rock and roll, and we're gonna see if we can find our sit bones so that it's gonna look like this. We rock and roll. Where can we find sitting and balancing on our sit bones? We might have to do it a few times, right? Because this isn't something we normally do. That is it. That's it. Nice job. No hands. And then let's come over our legs. Step back to the top of our push-up and bring the hips high to down dog. If it's available, you'll drop both elbows at the same time into your dolphin. It may or may not be available. You might do one side and then the other again. If it's available, you'll push back onto your hands both at the same time. And you'll repeat that 3 times. And if you had to come down onto one elbow first, that's fine. If you need to level this up anymore, once you get those elbows down, then you can bring your nose towards your thumbs, bring it back, press to down dog. Elbows down, we're in dolphin. Maybe you come forward into that dolphin push-up, back, down dog, right? Or it could look like down dog, one elbow, the other elbow, one elbow up, the other elbow up. It sure feels like I've done a whole lot of those. So let's bring our hands back towards our feet, get off of our arms and shoulders. Maybe hold on to opposite elbows and hang in your ragdoll. I automatically like to sway side by side a little bit. If you feel some movement there, go for it. If you have a bind, release hands to the ground, bend the knees generously, round it up one vertebra at a time. Ground into that left foot, and you're gonna find that same stretch we did last time. Right leg in. Okay, so here's where we can have a variation. We can come forward like we did, still hold on with the right leg, but let go with the left. Maybe it's dangling down toward the ground. Maybe you're binding here, pressing into your shin, playing around with some shapes and movement and what happens. But then we got to get back out of that, right? Woo, with as much control as we can. Just a little wobbling, that's not too bad. Let's try that on the other side. Find the foot. Fold forward as you like. Yep. Maybe releasing the right hand. I had to look and see what hand was released. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. And then control coming back up, right? Like, haha, you did it. You all did it. That looks so good. Hands to heart center. Take a nice deep breath. And then exhale. So to me, that's a bit of a dancer variation, right? Kind of a dancer, warrior three, mash up, max up, mash up, whatever. So let's take actual dancer, right leg out or right arm out to the side. I like to hold onto the inside of my foot then when I'm taking dancer, but I still want to line my knee up like we did last time. And then this time I'm going to kick into my hand. This might be it. You might stay upright here in your dancer. Hand could be at your chest or your hips, or you might reach forward or fold forward, bringing your toe in the air. You can play with that hand to the shin again too. Oh, that made me come right out of there. I should pretend like I meant to and just go to the other side, right? Nice, 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 Jim. Jim's holding steady over there. Come out when you're ready, Jim, and the rest of us are out, and we're gonna go to the other side. Left hand. I just like to do this to sort of align myself, knee alignment, but I always end up kicking into my arm. Instead of holding the heel close for dancer, I'm gonna kick in and then fold forward to whatever amount. Hopefully you're not looking at me, I'm wobbling. Beautiful dancer variations. Coming out when you're ready. Ah, nice job. Y'all are at the back of the mat. Let me join you here. Hands at heart center. Take a nice deep full inhale. And exhale. Inhale to sweep the arms up overhead. Fold forward. Half lift. Walk it out to downward facing dog. Move your feet as you need to. Toe tap on the right. Just take it forward as far as you're able. Come back to down dog. Toe tap on the left. Back to down dog. Right leg comes high, three-legged bend and stack. Bring your foot to the top of the mat. High lunge, reach the arms up, overhead, cactus this round. Open up. Take that right into a twist. Maybe you're going to keep like a dancer arm and go right into a dancer twist. Maybe hands will come together and you'll twist and bind like we did last time. Come out of that into your lizard lunge, hands to the inside of your front foot. Maybe we'll all drop the back knee and let that right knee kind of come out to the side so we're on the edge of our right foot. That changes it all. Ground your foot, come into your grounded lunge. Hands can remain on the knee or reach up to the sky. Eventually, I'm going to leave my left hand on my leg just so I can keep my hips rather square, and then bend that back foot and see if I can find it and pull my heel towards my bum. It can be the other way too. I just tend to open up too much. I don't like it. Warrior 2, back of the mat, that's where we're headed. Mindful transition, yeah. Peaceful warrior. Exalted warrior, straighten the front leg. Turn your feet outside edges parallel. Wide leg fold this round. Coming forward, hands can be on the ground or bound with your feet. We've done a lot of our practice, so you might be able to take this fairly deep right away. A little micro bend in those knees. Let them be tiny bit soft. Added core work, pull that belly up and in strongly. If your hands are not on the ground, bring them to the ground. Come halfway up. Walk your hands to the back of the mat. Surround your left foot. Come forward into your Kundalini squat. That's knee on the calf, finding any balance you might like to play with here. Have a seat. Boat pose. Tap the right toe on the ground, bring it back up. Left toe, back and forth like that, like those feet are swimming, chest nice and high. It's like a little distraction really from holding boat. It's not that much of a distraction. Can we go? That long, right? Both feet down to the ground. Let's lengthen the legs out for a seated fold. You still get to look at that nice green grass. Inhale, lengthen your chest, and then fold over your straight legs. Ah. Come upright, cross over, take a vinyasa or no vinyasa to downward facing dog. We'll take ourselves to the other side. Inhale the left leg up, bend and stack. What did we do on the last side? Knee to nose? I don't remember. No, I think we just came to the top of the mat. High lunge. That's right. Reach the arms overhead and then cactus on this round. Everybody cactus, whether you wanted to or not. Come back upright and take your twist. Whether you find that dancer twist or the twist we had with hands at heart center. Windmill out of that into your lizard lunge, hands to the ground, drop that back knee, and we ask the front knee to come out to the side so we're on the edge of our foot. Ground your foot, come upright into your grounded lunge so that back knee is staying on the ground. Find the hand placement you like for a breath or two. And then right hand to that left knee, bend the back foot, and maybe you can find it with the opposite hand, pulling the heel towards the bum. Warrior 2, top of the mat. Nice, slow, controlled transitions. Peaceful warrior. Straighten the front leg, exalted. Turn the front foot outside side edges parallel. One more time in our wide leg fold, any hand placement you might like. Hands to the ground, come upright, walk to the top of the mat, surround your right foot, Kundalini, hold, Kundalini curtsy, finding the one that's right for you, eventually coming down to have a seat. Let's bring our legs out straight in front of us, hollow out your belly, and come all the way down. Oh, I don't mean that. Oh good, y'all aren't down there. I actually want you to bring your forearms down to the ground. Bring the right leg up. We're going to do leg switches. You can decide if that bottom leg comes all the way to the ground or if it ends up hovering. And we'll switch, but nice and slow. Bend your knees if you need to, if your hamstring length is keeping you from doing this movement. Pull the belly in. You're really rounding, even though our low back isn't going to touch the ground all the way. Are you guys getting enough core this practice? Yes. Okay, I'm just checking. Before we finish, I'm checking on y'all.
Great.
Lonnie's like, she's not counting or doing anything.
Dying.
All right, let's release those legs down to the ground and let's get ourselves all the way down to the ground. Take a nice long body stretch. We're gonna come into bridge as an opposite movement, opposite body part to work. So feet on the ground, knees to the sky. Inhale, bring your hips high, walk your shoulder blades under, chin away from your chest, press down into your arms and bring the hips up another inch. And release, hips down, bring the feet together, knees wide, Baddha Konasana. Bring the knees together, bridge again, but this time keep your feet together. Chances are you'll not get as high. Inhale, bring your hips up, feet are trying to stay together, knees are trying to stay towards each other. Hold yourself up there for another 3, 2, 1. Release down, come into that Baddha Konasana, feet together, knees wide. Bring the bring the knees back up. Walk your feet wide as your mat. This bridge might feel the best, right? Inhale, bring your hips nice and high, probably higher than ever because our feet are nice and wide. Press in with your arms. Stay up there for another 3, 2, 1. Release down to the ground. Walk those feet towards each other. Last Baddha Konasana. Let's hold this for 5 breaths. Okay, last core, I promise. Fingertips behind your ears. Keep those legs where they are if that's available to you. We're just doing a little crunch up and down. Keep it nice and slow, but go at your own pace as you crunch up and down. Legs wide. And And when you finish, maybe now, bring those knees together and give yourself a nice hug. Rock and roll so you can come forward. Maybe you find that little bit of a stopping point in your boat and then release your feet to the ground. We're gonna take a few minutes of yogi playtime so that you can do whatever you like in that time. But I am gonna show you that baby crow and some dolphin options. So I'm gonna show it to you, then you guys play for a few minutes either in that or anything else you want, and that can include some stretching or lying down and breathing, right? So, okay, so if you're headed into some dolphin play, right? You could be here, you can play around with coming up onto the toes, back towards the heels. You can look forward, bring one foot up in the air, play around with what you're gonna do with that leg. Different things here. A baby crow is balancing on the back of your arms when you're in those forearms. So hands are here. Now I like to bring my hips up already so that my knees are on the back of my arms, and it's like you're almost gonna kiss the mat. You're really close, yeah? And maybe you play around with bringing your toes off the ground, but look at how much you can play around with puffing that space out so that you don't sink down too far into your arms. I mean, anytime you come into these arm balances, you gotta have a lot of hip range of motion. I'm getting my knees all the way up in my armpits. So if you're not up that high, it changes the fulcrum, right, of what you have to do. So don't sweat it. Your toes might not come off the ground. Don't sweat it. No problem. You just play. Jim is breathing. That's the best part of yoga. Oh, Lonnie, you're like, yeah. You know what you have to think about is leaning forward like you're gonna kiss the mat a little bit. I missed that, but that sounded like I'm almost had it, or you did have it.
Yeah, it also hurt.
Yes, yes, yes. That was so good, yeah.
So I almost got stuck. I feel like my knees are bruising.
Okay, so that looks like headstand, right? Because you had your head all the way down, which that's okay. But if you're headed into that, yes, I saw it. If you're headed into that, your elbows are super wide and they're not as strong out there as if they're tucked in here. So you were kind of like this, which is fine, but tuck those elbows in instead of letting them be wide. Well, and if you've got sleeves on, good job, Lonnie. Puff that space up between your shoulder blades. It's actually harder, of course, because we're going to slide on our stuff. Ooh, look at you, Tammy. Don't force yourself, though. Just be gentle.
Yes.
Tammy's doing
that is something I'll never be able to do.
Oh,
Never.
Never say never.
I
swear to you all, I did not do splits until I was in my 40s.
I'm telling you, I just think that's where I don't have range. Is anything with splits.
I've never been able to do splits.
I can do one side split.
Yeah,
Yeah?
When I was little, I never could do splits.
I hope I can. I just like even when we
It's crazy, isn't it, how we're not totally even. That looks really good,
That was
though. Think of how many people can't do the splits at all. That's
I can
incredible.
do one side, but the other side.
see, I feel like even when we do the half split thing, that pose where you split prep or whatever.
This thing where you're doing this?
I can't even do that without just feeling like my legs being separated.
I was using blocks. I was all the way up, and I was like up like this using blocks. I had a huge space.
Okay, another, 30 seconds or so in your yoga playtime. Laura, I'll give you this feedback. Yeah. In your tripod headstand, your arms are pretty wide. So the reason that matters is that you're narrowing your base of support. It's wider this way, but it's narrow this way as far as like stability. So you're looking at, and I might be exaggerating, so don't get too offended. This versus this, which creates a deeper triangle. Yeah. So when you're doing that, instead of only touching here, hold on to your arm and hold on to your arm, and that'll narrow you a bit more. I'm not saying it's right or wrong exactly, but you may find that you want greater stability as you get up there and do more things. Right? Jen, that looks good. So we are going to come out of our yogi playtime. Take your time though, y'all, if you still have a few minutes to do whatever you want to do, into some pigeon hip opening. So if you like to do your pigeon hip opening on your belly, which looks like this, then you're going to be here. If you prefer to do that lying on your back, it's this figure 4 where you're stretching in here. Either way, we're targeting these nice big hip muscles. So find that, you know, I always start on the right, but it doesn't really matter. Yep. And let's hang out here for a good 10 breaths. So really settle in. We've been here about 10 breaths. So slowly begin to make your way out or deepen your stretch in any way you might need to, or change it up before coming to that same stretch on the other side. That has been 10 breaths on this side, so gently make your way out or change anything you might need to. We'll all meet on our backs, so if you've been on your belly, come to your back. If you're on your back, stay there. And let's finish with a spinal twist so everybody can take their knees over to the right, but lying down, so we're here. You might like your arms open like a T. I sometimes like to hold on to my ribs or my leg. Really think about sending your breath into those left ribs so they're really expanding nicely with each inhale. And then as you're ready, gently take yourself into your twist on the other side. Now shift that focus of your breath into your right ribs so they can expand. As you're ready, gently unwind, taking any other little stretches or movements or adjustments you need before enjoying this nice sunshine Shavasana. Allowing yourself to lie all the way down on the mat, releasing control of your breath.